Hello, comic book readers, and welcome to another live episode of Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
So today we're going to be talking about a bunch of things, including the beginning of Dark Web. Tiffany didn't check it out, so it'll be a little bit more one-sided in this particular episode.
I feel like I remember you saying it was coming out, and then I don't know what happened in my brain.
Marvel didn't really do a good job of letting people know. I'll be honest. Like, I was
true.
at the comic book store. I didn't see a damn thing. You know, it was weird.
Right, but I had you, and I still...
That's true. Well, we were a little busy this weekend. Of course, this past week, it was Thanksgiving. Hopefully, if you are in the United States, you enjoyed yourself a happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
We ourselves had 2 Thanksgivings, and I think we had a nice job at both, or nice time at both of them.
We did.
Tiffany cooked a hell of a meal, and it was delicious.
I wasn't alone. I had help.
That's true. Yes. But it was still great.
It was.
And, hopefully, yeah, you did too.
I had a great time. I really enjoyed it. So, yeah, that's why I think I don't. It's funny because I know we did the show last week, and I was like, "Did we?"
I know. It felt like we didn't.
Forever.
It's true. It felt like we took a week off, and we didn't.
Oh, we did not.
No. But listen, we want to let you know that if you want to sponsor today's show, you can do so by using Super Chats. Ask a question or comment here on the show. We'll read it here on the show, and it'll be part of the show forever. If you like the show and you want to hear it in audio version, you can check out our bevy, if you will, of audio podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc., in the form of Off the Rack, Elseworlds Exchange, and now Wake Up with Comic Pop, or Wake Up, Wake Up the Comic Pop. I think that's what it's called. In any case, those are out.
It's too early to know.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to make an episode today. I'm just all over the place and very busy, but
that's right.
I will hopefully get it done. If not today, it'll be out on Thursday.
Right,
so,
but we'll try for today.
Yeah.
Gonna try.
That's true. If you are catching this show, congratulations. You're one of the few people who have notifications turned on. So if you would like to catch the show when it is live, make sure to subscribe to the channel, click the bell for notifications, let the website know that you want to be notified when we do go live. YouTube doesn't want to let you know when we're going live, even if you do all of those things, because of course now YouTube has changed their whole priority system. You may have noticed, by the way, that a number of our shows have been relabeled as podcasts. That is by design. YouTube is moving in another direction towards podcasts, which is our bread and butter. That's what we do, what we make. It's a majority of our content.
Shut up, YouTube.
Absolutely. There's no way YouTube isn't going to put their heel on our neck. But I thought I'd do everything possible to at least get us as close to indexing as possible.
I did get the notification this time.
Yeah, me too.
So hooray!
Yeah,
hopefully that works out. So welcome and all.
Indeed. So let's read a couple of super chats, and then we will jump into some books.
Let us do that.
Ray Farr, for example. We'll have to catch this on the rewatch because I'll be at the gym.
Ooh,
Good for you. Take care of your body, you jerk. Thanks for all the Comic Pop does, and loved Sal and Ben's last Elseworlds Exchange. You guys are wrong. Lex Luthor yell. Wrong about Hellboy 2, though. Peace and love. I think Ben liked Hellboy 2. I did not.
No,
I appreciated a number of things about it. All the casting was great, except for Seth MacFarlane, who was an anchor around the neck of that movie. But also all the nonsense, and then him leaving the bureau. I was like, none of this is something I want to see.
Right.
And then we talked about Hellboy 2019 or 2018.
Whenever that came out.
Whenever the hell that came out, and how that never really had a shot. But
there was actually a lot of that I liked.
Yeah, David Harbour is great.
David Harbour is great.
The mythology, that hunt they did was fun. And there was a lot I didn't like.
I know that it's a point of contention for some folk. I really like Mila in that.
She's great.
I think she's great.
She doesn't jump around like she's
That's
paid
okay.
to do.
I you know what it is? I know I like her. So
yeah, you just like her.
It's kind of hard for me to be
No, but it was good for her to do something. Brian Rollins. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. Hope you did too, my friend. Thank you very much for being here. And Corey McGivney, thank you very much for your generosity.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Hey, Sal and Tiff, first time super chatter, long time fan. ComicPop has got me through a lot of hard times, school, and gave me this love and passion for comics. Love and appreciate all that you do. Well, that's great to hear, man. I'm so glad you were able to find it in any way thanks to us. So we do appreciate it. And hopefully you will enjoy this hobby for a very long time. Questions. Are you optimistic for Dawn of DC? Sure. Yeah. I mean, I know who's behind it, so I tend to agree with the directions that creator goes in. I think that it is made with an intent of positivity and forward momentum and, optimism.
Yeah.
So I'm hopeful for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll try it. I'm not, like I said, we all know I'm not a big Dark Crisis fan.
No, but the Dark Crisis, I think, is like a stepping stone to the Dawn.
That, It's always darkest. That's what I said last time, and
That's
literally
right.
everyone else has ever said about anything. So I'll give it a shot. It's a chance for something new.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Sean Conwell, happy belated Thanksgiving, guys. Wanted to
Thank you.
ask if there's any other Hickman X-Men stories you'd recommend similar to Ten of Swords. I've been eyeing Hellfire Gala.
Hellfire Gala is a little different, but it's still really well done. Like, it doesn't have the same flow of story, I'd say, that Ten of Swords had.
Yeah.
Although there are some similarities, though, because it definitely takes all the books and like the characters from said books and kind of has one event kind of bring them all together.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would go with Hellfire Gala, and then you're good.
And then you're good, because Inferno was a disappointment.
Inferno was great up until a point.
Yeah, up until you could see Hickman just kick the door over, or kick the desk over.
Yeah, but like, seriously, do check out Hellfire Gala, because it is fun. The more I think back on it, not only just because the costumes are fun, but it is a lot of talking, and it's a lot of like, ooh,
yeah,
oh, what's going on over there?
That's
what's going
true.
on over here? Ooh.
Yeah, and the status quo that it sets up, the original Hellfire Gala was
yes.
really cool. Dan V900, I know you will get into it, but Human Target #9 is an incredible cover. People I know who aren't reading it for some reason just wanted the cover. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, like, there are some books that I buy simply on the cover art, because I don't know if I'm ever gonna be able to get the cover art. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
Greg Smallwood, where are you?
Yeah.
What?
Baggins one
Sell me things.
11-7 says Dark Web is off to a great start, isn't it?
Yawn.
Yawn. That's fair. Well, we'll talk about that later. And John Ty, with the Krakoa era of X-Men still going on, was Cyclops right at the end of AVX, where he stopped believing in Charles Xavier's dream of coexistence? I mean, the problem is you can't just do X-Men anymore. You got to talk about like something subversive. You got to be like, Xavier is he's a good man and also has lots of demons. Cyclops is, a loyal lapdog and also a leader. And it's just contradictions galore. With respect to AVX, I don't think anybody making this movie was even thinking about it outside of using hope, which is basically what they did in AVX. AVX was just a marketing book that was made by creative people.
Right.
Like, I genuinely don't believe that there was
any movie.
No. Well, maybe I did, but I meant comic book.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, I got confused. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I don't know if he was right necessarily.
No,
we'll see. I mean, like, it's going to be whatever they decide to take this for the end of it. But
yeah,
it's impossible to know what would have been.
That's true. Nick Del Tufo, hey folks, hope you're doing well. Have a wonderful day. You too, Nick. Thank you very much.
You.
And Mr. Rangry, I think I found you guys around this time 6 years ago, and it's been a fun ride. Thanks for all the wonderful content.
That's
Thanks, Mr.
so
Rangry.
Nice. Thank you.
And thanks for your support, man. Okay, so I read this. It was Detective Comics 1066 from Ram V and Hayden Sherman. This is interesting. So obviously, I've been hyping up this book a lot.
You have.
I don't know if I even really care about what's happening in this book. I got to tell you, the cover is great. The art is fantastic. The writing is good. The art reflects the writing pretty much. This one in particular had more of like a Lee Bermejo kind of feel. It wasn't quite that, but you could feel that Ram V really, really wants to, like, I don't know, do something, but through creating new characters, creating a new problem. It's basically like a more Eastern Court of Owls kind of idea.
Okay.
Where like a foreign group comes in, turns out they owned Arkham and the plot and all this, like a lot of Gotham the whole time, and they are deeply rooted in mysticism and their own like religious fanaticism, and they were enemies of the League of Shadows, and like they're co-opting different villains. This one we like kind of re-established that like they co-opted Two-Face, and so it's like you're getting these new characters but set against characters you do recognize, and that happens again in this issue. Like Mr. Freeze shows up, as indicated by the cover. There's going to be Cold, and like Mr. Freeze is like a pawn in these like power players schemes who are still relatively uninteresting. Like they are just like, they're people who have like ornate costumes, but they don't do anything. They're costumes that are ceremonial, or they're like status based. They're not like armed. They're not like Azrael costumes where it's like it's a religious like knight's outfit, and he uses it to kill people with like flaming swords and whatnot. This is more just like, look at these people and how interesting they are because they come from afar and they're here to like control Gotham.
Okay.
And Jim Gordon is back. He was away for a while because the backup Spurrier book will explain all that.
Okay.
But Jim and Batman are working together again, and like that was one of the things I saw. I finally saw a page from this entire run out of context posted online, and I'm like, hey, it's getting on people's radars, and the reason was because Gordon fishes Batman out of the river from the last issue, and he bandages his face, but not because it's injured, but rather because he doesn't want to know who he is. And someone was like, that's enough. Like, does he know or not? I'm sick of this. And I'm like, I hear you, but you know, that was, I mean, like if you read the Snyder run, he knows.
He knows, yeah.
And if you read the King run, he's not in it. But if you and like you know, the really the references are in like people like to point out, and I do as well, from No Man's Land.
Okay.
Where Bruce needs to reveal himself to Gordon, or he feels he should do that as a gesture of trust. And Gordon's like, if I wanted to know, I could have at any point. It's insulting for you to imply that I'm a bad enough cop that I need you to tell me. And I'm like, that's a way better conversation than seeing Gordon recognize Bruce Wayne for the first time or having Gordon know the whole time. It's just Gordon being like, maybe I know already. Like, maybe it's not about that man. And I'm like, that's what I like. In this one, it's just like, I don't want to know. But like Gordon is a private detective. He's not part of the GCPD. It's just, there are no stakes. Like Gordon can know, and it doesn't matter. I would rather there be a line where Gordon says something like, I covered your face because I can't look at you and do the work and take you seriously. You know, every time I see your face, I see an idiot.
Right.
You know, who like fritters around with Gotham's wealth. And I can't take you seriously. Like, that would be something.
Right.
And by the way, it's fine. I'm not complaining necessarily, but that's the thing that people gravitated towards in this issue. And it's such a non-moment. If it hadn't been...
I guess it could have been even more that, like, if you don't want to say for sure if he knows or doesn't, you could say that he's bandaging his face because he doesn't want to find out if he's right.
Yeah, he doesn't want to confirm it.
Yeah.
That'd be one thing.
Like, he's just like, I know, but like, I've never actually seen your face.
Right. I've never asked. And I've never caught you.
So like, I don't want to find out if I'm right or not.
Yeah, that would be fine too. But otherwise, it is well written, and it's an interesting approach to a very new modern comics concept, which is, I'm doing Batman now. So here are all of my new characters.
Of course.
And that's Ron V's doing this. He's taking a page right out of the book.
Yeah, that's going to be it from now on.
That's the move now. If I have any Batman, doesn't even matter if it's the main Batman book, here is my McFarlane action figure. Or 5. At least in this, it's more like he's doing it where like each character, or every time these characters show up, we also have a classic Batman character who loses or looks like an idiot or is being manipulated. You know, to show how much cooler those other characters are.
Sure, yeah, because you need that.
You absolutely need. It's essential. It's part of the entire. It's in the DNA of the industry. But in all seriousness, it's well written. It's interesting. I just, the only problem is they have the audacity to call this like part 1, and I'm like, no, this is like the Daredevil book where it's like there's no chapters. It's just all the way.
Yeah.
I didn't feel any natural chapter break at any point in this run, and I've read it from the beginning.
Right. Okay.
So that's fine. You know, like, I'm not going to complain.
Do you still feel as like excited as you were when it started?
Not especially, but I don't dislike it. It's just like nothing of note has happened. Characters keep saying the same thing they had said before. Reminds me a lot of Tamaki's run, where it was like, this is really cool, this is new, this is really fresh. And then like every arc was the exact same thing.
Right.
This isn't the exact same thing. It's just more like, where is the chase and how can I cut to it?
Gotcha.
Young Goku over 9000 says, hey, Tiffany.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't the one rule Magic gave Madeline for ruling Limbo to not invade Earth?
Yeah, she didn't really necessarily want that. She also didn't want her to do a whole lot of things, but it is Madeline.
Yep. Why is Dark Web happening? Also, 4 different artists on one issue felt sloppy. Well, that way they could get the book out. We'll talk about it later.
You know what it could be too? It could be that they wanted to do this event, or like this storyline, and they needed a reason for her to be in limbo. And so since Magic was in New Mutants, they're like, New Mutants, you have to toe the line here.
Yeah.
You got to put her back and
put her in there so that Zeb can do his thing.
So we can do this. So it's like, it's not quite as cohesive as like in terms of like storytelling across the company as perhaps AXE.
No,
because that doesn't help either. Is that we just had AXE, and for me that was like tight.
Yeah,
it was tight.
It was.
Except maybe that Spider-Man book.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem. Chocobo Kid, happy holidays to everyone at Comic Pop, loving the morning shows and the game streams and all the other content too. That's true. If you check out the featured channels on our page here, you can subscribe to ComicPop Plays or just go to youtube.com at ComicPop Plays, and you can watch Tiffany play video games, or just go to twitch.tv/ComicPop. John Jays, hey guys, thanks for amazing content. Now, I normally love Chip Zdarsky work, but failsafe, did we really need another Batman's Contingency Plan Runs Amok storyline? I agree we didn't, but I also like that at least Chip was like, no, this is literally from Tower of Babel. Like, it's like a sequel to Tower of Babel. This is my like answer to a question that was asked at the end of Tower of Babel that was ultimately unsatisfying, I believe. Plus, it's just cool. You know, you can get away with a lot if you pull it off. What else did you read, Tiffany?
What else did I read?
Yeah, what did you read?
What did I read? Let's talk about. I'm gonna go with just a random indie I picked up.
Okay.
It's Once Upon a Time at the End of the World #1 out of 2.
Okay.
I think there's only 2 issues to this.
Great.
Right. It's an Image comic, so I haven't picked. Oh no, sorry, it's Boom. Forgot it's Boom. I haven't picked up an Image book except for Saga in a while.
Yeah.
This is a Boom book. It's Jason Aaron's Boom title. Written by Jason Aaron with art by Alexandre Tefenki. Tefenki. I'm not sure how to say that, so I apologize. It's a post-apocalyptic
love story.
Okay. Sort of thing that takes place over the course of years.
Oh.
So it's like this first issue was. And I don't actually know if it's 1 of 2, because like all I know about this, it could be longer. So
okay.
Don't already start adding me, which you might already be. I can't see the comments. It's fine. It's just that when I went to Comixology, it was like 1 of 2. So that might be 1 of 2 that they have lists for, and they don't have the next ones listed.
That would be fair, yeah.
So it's always hard to tell when it comes to Amazon and Comixology. So regardless of that, you might think to yourself, but it's Jason Aaron, and you know.
He's great when it comes to indie books and you know,
individual
characters.
In my opinion, I think he's
100%
tends to be quite strong, and this was really well written. I got to be honest with you. It's a epic post-apocalyptic title, as they're calling it, about these 2 individuals who meet post an environmental catastrophe, in which it's kind of hard to tell what's going on, but needless to say, it's like there are very few people left and the world is destroyed and there's like garbage everywhere. And clearly, I'm guessing ice caps have melted, so the sea rose.
Okay.
There's like crazy, like mutant acid people kind of thing that we like barely get. Like we know they're out there menacing in like the darkness kind of thing, but by the end of it, we do see them.
Okay.
But like it's just, I was like, I picked it up because I was like, you know what? Tiffany, you know that Jason Aaron can write, and regardless of how people might feel about him after post Avengers, like I'm like, can he still do it? Can he still craft a story? And like I know a lot of people are digging his Punisher right now too, right? And it's like, yeah, no, the dude can still write. I won't lie, like the first page, like it was just him, like I don't know, it felt like a breath for him. So like here's like part like one of the like little like description boxes where it says above wild infernos raging in the deep, where the sea was scabbed with ash and pockmarked with geysers of gushing black fire.
Cool.
And I was like, yeah, okay, I'm in. I get it, Aaron. I sometimes this guy just needs a breath apparently, or to not write for a team. And I was happy to pick this up and check it out. If you like post-apocalyptic stuff, you might dig this. The world feels very well lived in. I dig the characters. There's Maceo and Mezzy.
Okay.
She's the like street smart, knows the wastelands like character. He's been held up holed up in a tower where like it's like the world has not quite gotten in there. Like he knows there's bad stuff out there, but his parents told him to leave. And he thinks she's just the greatest thing ever, so he decides to leave.
Okay.
And we get to see right at the end like what happened like down like a couple years after that. And I'm like, okay, I can literally not wait for the next book. Like he does a really good job of doing that cliffhanger thing where it's just like, hey, yeah, but you got to get the next one. I'm like, no, I do.
Right.
So like I said, like if you're looking for something like post-apocalyptic sort of thing, or a romance story in a post-apocalyptic world, or you just want to be reminded of how good Jason Aaron can be, go grab Once Upon a Time at the End of the World.
Nice. I did not even hear of this.
Right.
So I'm very happy to see it's like on the radar.
No, I was like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Light weeks, let me play around like this.
M says, sup guys, the Beast is a horrible person saga continues in the latest X-Force, although I'm pretty sure Percy has a plan with him based on how much emphasis he puts on how brutally evil he is.
We will get into that. Don't worry, I read it.
Good. I'm looking forward to
give me
that.
a chance to jump in there.
No, they never do. But I'm really excited to see what happens in X-Force because I don't read any of these X-Men books anymore. Corey McGivney, as a big fan and chatter of the Twitch side of Comic Pop, will we see God of War Ragnarok anytime soon? No pressure, just asking out of curiosity.
I would like to, but all right. So here's the thing, guys. Like we were playing Gotham Knights because it's comic book themed, obviously, and then I was going to jump into Ragnarok, but I also know Midnight Suns is coming out. So I do want to play it. I really do so badly. I have it sitting. I haven't even cracked it open. It's just sitting there waiting for me, just desperately trying to get me to play it.
Yeah.
But I feel like we should play Midnight Suns.
Sure.
I don't know.
I don't know either. GRK Pectus says, did you read Guardians of the Galaxy Hellfire Gala issue? Most people miss it because it's a side story. It's great. Nova fights Magneto because villains keep getting a pass. No. You?
No, which Hellfire Gala?
I assume 2.
Oh, okay. So no, I was not super invested in the second one. I'll be honest.
No one was, because why would they be?
I felt like I was going through the motions of that one. I wanted it to be exciting, and I wanted it to feel like it did before, and I didn't have that connection.
It just didn't. Steampunk, I just finished the Ultimate Galactus trilogy, and Brandon Peterson's art makes the third act of this super surreal to read. Also, X number 17 was great, or cool at the very least.
It was cool.
And Koji Yasuda, first-time commentator, but I'm happy I got all the Deceased volumes and spin-offs for $12. Good Black Friday haul. Nice.
Good Black Friday haul.
Good Black Friday haul. Good.
Yeah, very nice.
Good find. Those are great.
Yeah.
I love that series. So, and Riv Wilson, nothing to say, just hitting the heart dollar. Thank you very much, Riv.
Thank you
for your support, man. I read Daredevil number 5 from Chip Zdarsky, this time with art by Marco Cicchetto. That's the unsung hero of this series is Cicchetto. Cicchetto, of course, relatively unknown until like the Daredevil book kind of like put him back on the map, despite the fact that Daredevil is not like a map putter series unless it's like, Frank Miller or whatever. But this is continuing the saga. It's like you don't even pay attention to the numbers in this book anymore because it's just one contiguous story that's just been going and going. It is so different from where it had been and where it started that it's like unrecognizable as the Daredevil series now. Matt and Elektra are in wherever the hell forming an army for the Fist, and they got married, which means they got like magic powers, which means everyone in the Fist got magic powers. So Foggy Nelson has powers and Cole has powers, and they're like, we need an army. So they go to the prison that was invented in Dark Reign or whatever the hell it was called. What was it called? It was that Devil's Reign. Yeah, Devil's Reign.
Yes.
But the Devil's Reign event had that like Supermax prison that was used in the Civil War movie. They go down there, they pick up a bunch of prisoners who are supervillains, and they're like, look, you can either stay here or you can work for the Fist. What do you say? A bunch of them join them. They're met by like John Walker and the jury, which was fun to see. And so Matt fights like fake Captain America, and that's a fun back and forth. Ultimately, Matt steals his shield, and so Matt Daredevil Santa Claus has a Captain America-esque shield, and it wraps up with him getting on the radar of the Avengers, who are like, I think we're gonna have to deal with Daredevil. And of course, Chip is heavily inspired by Nocenti and Miller, so I have no doubt in my mind we're gonna get a recreation of the sequence from the Born Again story arc. But it's fun to watch them kind of like build their army and set their camp up and build towards their thing. It's also like thematically relevant to the like theme of religious fanaticism and like fundamentalism. Like, am I on the right side? Am I right? What's wrong? Be wary of those who believe they're right with God, that kind of thing. Matt thinks he's right with God, but like also is encountering people who think that they are on God's side, but are clearly wrong. And so it gives them an opportunity.
Clearly they're wrong, or clearly
both of them
they're
are wrong.
actually wrong, or they're wrong to him.
Both.
Okay.
So, but it gives him pause and it makes him like question his convictions, not necessarily his faith or his path. Like he knows this is the right way to go, even though I'm not even really clear on what he's supposed to be doing anyway. Like, he's like, we got this army, and it just feels very like church basement guerrilla warfare, like, drink the Kool-Aid kind of situation, as opposed to a like change the world kind of thing. It's just very interesting. I'm like, that's cool.
Okay.
And Cole getting powers is cool because he's there to keep Daredevil like honest and pure, or at the very least, like call him on his shit.
Might be helpful.
Yeah, but him getting powers also is like he's like I'm not a super person. I'm a regular person. And now that I have powers, it feels like cheating. I'm like, good for you. GRK Pactus, Guardians of the Galaxy was original Hellfire Gala. Okay.
No, I did not read that.
Still didn't read it. Potassium to the Heart. Been missing the live shows, but loving the new content. Well, thank you very much, Potassium. Appreciate it. RK, hey guys, hope you had a great holiday. We did. Hopefully you did too. If you guys read AC, but one of the Folosian children, Clark's Action Comics. Seems a bit too much like Chris Kent. Guess I have to watch the back issues episode to be sure. We didn't do it, and I don't think we ever will. But like, yeah, more synergy. Give Clark more kids, but don't have him have kids because that ages him. Because apparently Tomasi wanted to have them have a daughter, and during the Super Sons period, and then the big boss is like, no.
That would have been really cute to see John as a big brother and to have Damian also be a big brother.
Yep.
That would have been adorable.
Yep. And they were like, no, you barely got away with having the son.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, but they're putting all of Bendis' toys back in the box, so maybe one day we'll get John back.
That's a shame.
And then maybe one day a daughter. But like he brought some kids with him from Warworld.
Okay.
Which I'm assuming like Dan noticed and took for his Fantastic Four run, which is exactly what they did. But yeah.
By the way, I want to point out I did remember Corey from Twitch.
Oh yeah.
I was just like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
What did you read?
Let's talk about Midnight Suns really quickly, a book that no one cares about, but I'm reading it.
Yeah, you don't even care about it.
You know what? It's fun. It's fun enough. And
fun enough.
It's fun enough. It's like, hey, listen, let's like take an opportunity to show a younger version of Agatha Harkness who looks like
Catherine Hahn,
yeah, her Disney Plus allegory, which is so weird because of like what we were talking about the other day. That seems like they're railing against, like with Doctor Strange. It was like when Doctor Strange came out, like don't have him be alive when that movie comes out. So it's so bizarre, right?
Right.
So then go and do this. You've got like you're tying in like stuff from what's currently happening in Strange Academy. So it's like, is this actually happening? Because like here we go. We got characters in Strange Academy. We've got Clea Strange is involved with this. She just sent our team away so that they could try to avoid this apocalyptic situation, this vision that occurred. Because she's like, hey, you know what? Maybe if you aren't here, it won't happen, and I'll deal with Laveau and Harkness. Right?
Okay.
We get a little more backstory about Harkness. The 5 are in the dark dimension. They're kind of trucking their way through. We get to see Kushala take over a giant bat and turn it into a Ghost Rider vehicle.
Oh, okay.
And they all ride it.
That's fun.
And they go to a tower that's filled with some sort of like RPG style vampires. They look like orcs and vampires at the same time.
All right.
Nico Minru feels really bad about herself because she's like, I don't have enough powers. I used to have powers when I had the staff, but without the staff, I have nothing.
Oh.
I really shouldn't be here. I understand. But that's okay. The vampires are holding a wizard.
Oh no.
So we get like, oh, who is it? I thought they were gonna leave that for the next issue. They're like, no, we're just gonna tell you. It's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. Do you remember the Sorcerer Supreme?
Like, what do you
issue of it's the what's the word in front of it? It was when Tony Stark. It was Sorcerer Supreme. Like, there's another word that goes with that title, and I can't remember what it is.
When like Bendis made Tony Stark Sorcerer Supreme in the future.
Something Sorcerer Supreme or whatever it was. It's him.
Oh.
It's Tony Stark.
Oh, okay.
Strange.
Like old Doctor Strange.
It's Tony Stark as Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah.
Which I was like, okay.
Interesting.
He's there.
Well,
because
they remembered him.
That's basically it. Or because they couldn't use Strange right now.
Probably couldn't use Strange.
Because they were like, can't put him in the book. So
no, Scientist
Scientist
Supreme.
Supreme. Thank you. I'm like, that's what it was.
There you go.
Thank you. I'm like, someone's gonna get the name and put it into my brain, and there you go. So yeah, so he's there,
Mm-hmm.
and he helps him out, and then he does what Tony Stark does, because if you're gonna put Tony Stark in your book, he's gonna make armor,
Right.
because that's what he does. And hey, I know Magic just got a new fit, but like, get that rag off, girl. It's time for all new outfits.
Oh, cool. Yay. And I bet those are downloadable.
Maybe. I mean, what's neat about the Magic one, like Magic's new outfit, is it reminds me of her old outfit, but also of her, was it Darkchild?
Yes.
Yeah. Like, look a little bit.
Totally.
So it's kind of there.
Okay.
But yeah. For some reason, if you're going to do a like little mini story about the Magic characters, they need to all get new outfits.
Yeah.
When they did that Darkhold book,
they all got new costumes.
Outfits.
Yeah.
Like, they were evil, but new outfits.
Yeah.
Hey, we're in this other book. New outfits.
Yeah.
There we go. So yeah, they got new armor so that they can like survive going to where Voltor is.
Okay.
That's what their plan is. They're gonna take the fight to him.
Oh, great.
I'm like, sure, whatever.
Cool. I'm not invested, so
like I'm not at all invested in what's happening right now, but yeah.
Dope.
So I just literally, I love, because I pointed that out in the first issue. I was like, oh hey, they're actually using Magic's new outfit.
Right. Like,
issue 3.
Out of here.
No. Get it off. New shit.
Dope.
And again, I think it looks cool.
Right. They are objectively neat looking.
They're
at the
neat.
very least.
I like a black and red outfit. I think is kind of cool.
Yes. Black and red is always a cool.
Wolverine, although having red claws.
Yeah.
He's got red claws here, but
it's than a fire claws.
We've seen this kind of like dark gray look on him.
I don't know. Cool.
It's happening. This is a book that's happening, and I'm.
Who made it?
Oh, that's a great question. I was literally about to be like, I think it's Ethan Sachs.
It is Ethan Sachs.
And I don't remember who's doing art.
It could be Luigi Zagaria.
It is Luigi Zagaria. It is.
All right.
And it's not bad looking.
No.
Like, it's a fine looking book, and it's coming out on time, and
right. Who could argue with that?
It's clearly as a tie into the video game.
Kind of synergy thing.
Right. But I don't think it has anything to do with the video game.
I'm sure it doesn't.
Wolverine's on the team.
Right. And that could just be editorial being like, put Wolverine on the team.
Put Wolverine on that team.
Love seeing editorial show up, not to like make the books like better or stronger or like make more sense, but rather just to tell you to put Wolverine in the book.
Put Wolverine in there.
Joshy Lee says, love the stuff you guys do. Wake Up with Comic Pop has been something really special. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much.
I agree. It has been.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
That should be like any editor's notes. Just, hey, if I could give you one bit of feedback, just put Wolverine in there.
Yeah. Naturally. That used to be a very strong note, and it came out a lot. Archer FX, hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. Hopefully you did too. We did. Thank you very much for asking. Or at the very least, the wishes. And GRK Pectus. Did you read Civil War II Kingpin? Loved seeing how Kingpin was easily dealt with cosmic level heroes like he does street level, the only good tie-in to Civil War II. Yeah, we read that.
Yeah.
You read that.
And by the way, for those in the comments, I do know that Wolverine's on the team because of the game. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
That seems like that's their tie-in.
Right.
Because seemingly, I don't think this story
has anything to do,
unless it's going to be about a character who has an apocalyptic vision in which they're the main reason that the world's going to fall.
Right.
And if that's the case, why not have just done this story then?
Yeah. I don't know.
Why give it away?
I don't know.
You want to talk about X-Force?
Why not?
X-Force number 34 came out, written by Ben Percy with art by Chris Allen. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to read this.
You were dropping a couple of them. I think Marauders is one of your...
Literally, last week, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to read this one. And then I saw that Sever Blackmore was going to be, and I was like, fine. Remember that Araco pirate that Wolverine and Solemn had to deal with? He had no nose because Solemn had cut it off. Yeah, he's in this. I was like, okay,
all right.
All right. They're clearly trying to bring in some more of the stuff that happened in the Wolverine series into here. Because by the end of this, Sever is caught. He goes to this special jail that's being built. We're going to get into that part in a second when we talk about one specific character. But then Solemn shows up to break him out because he's like, one day I'm going to end up here. And clearly I don't want that to happen. And I just went to hell and now I'm back. So we're not going to deal with that at all, I guess.
Good. What did that have to do with anything? But all right.
Because he went to hell in the
I know, but why would he break him out just because he's going to go there?
Because he's Solemn. Because Solemn's he's playing three-dimensional chess.
Sure.
So I'm like, all right, cool. So we're kind of trying to continue to keep this Krakoan line of books
coming out
together. So like, together. It's like Wolverine's on this team, so you know what? Let's pay attention to what's going on in the Wolverine book and like carry some of those characters over into this story as well. So I'm like, I appreciate that.
Right. Like we ran Hickman out on a rail to keep this going and do what we want.
Yep.
We'd better at least keep it cohesive.
You got to do something, right? We also bring in Maverick, who was also seen in
saw him on the cover
run of Wolverine. I think went back when Kubert was doing art for it.
Yeah, he was.
So it's like, we're trying to, again, that cohesion, they're trying to keep that going.
Yeah.
Especially because Wolverine is clearly a big part of this team. Although honestly, Wolverine's in this, but he's not the main focus. Sage is really the main focus. She talks a lot about like her job and like what she used to do for a living and like where she is now and kind of like just her life is kind of rough, right?
That's cool that she's not even on the cover.
Well, no, because you want to show the action. Look, all of this happens. Like there's
Deadpool, Wolverine,
they do things. They're not in space necessarily because Maverick is actually the one who takes down Sever. He gets hired by someone.
Okay.
And Maverick is paid, I think. I don't know if he's paid it. Maybe they just build it, but he's paid a lot of money. Beast uses $100 billion for something, and Sage is like, "What's up with that?"
Yeah, what is up with that?
Well, he built a prison.
Okay.
I think on a moon somewhere. And because he's like, listen, we got the pit for like mutants who are bad, right? But like we need a place to like put people who are like human, alien, whatever, that we need to question. And so like I need to build a place.
I did Guantanamo Bay. Okay.
Yeah, and so I'm not going to tell any of X-Force. I'm not going to tell anyone about this. That's why he's got to use Maverick and his mercenaries in order to bring Sever in, because he also wants to test all the biotech weapons. So he's also like, he's literally just building a place that he can like test out like weaponry or anything he wants on people. So he's gone like,
he's full Dark Beast.
He's full, right? So like, listen, if Percy isn't doing something with Beast or this book gets canceled before it is going to be a complete disaster.
Then they're gonna have to release like some kind of alpha issue that
they'd have to, or an Omega issue or something like that in order to deal with Beast, because where they have put him is just
irredeemable.
He is the irredeemable Hank McCoy at this point. And I don't other than, like I said, he dies and then someone notices like something's wrong with his Cerebro backup.
Right.
You
have Mystique like uploaded, Dark Beast's DNA to the Hank McCoy file or something like that.
Right. Or Sinister did it.
Or Sinister did it.
I mean, maybe something with whatever's going on with Sinister I don't know, but like I sincerely believe and hope that Ben Percy has something up his sleeve that's going to somehow bring this around. Or maybe he's just like, no, like Beast is not redeemable.
I'm so sick of that.
Just people not being redeemable.
Yeah, that in general, but also the fact that like Marvel has this whole approach where they're like, and maybe it's not Marvel as a company because obviously they don't make their decisions because it's like not a living being, but like at Marvel, you'll notice that they like everyone always complains like nothing ever changes, everything's always the same, and it's like, yeah, but also like there are some changes that have been in place and for no reason have been upheld. Like no one asked for Ben Reilly to be a bad guy, but they did it anyway. Yeah. And like no one asked for Kane to die, and yet he still is. And like no one asked for Beast to be a piece of shit, and yet he's and like people are having fun on the creative level seeing just how bad they can make him.
And that's really what it is. Like we're to a point now, because it's like, I know it's been like this for a while. Like he has been not the best for a bit. And it just feel like in this book, in X-Force, they have been pushing the envelope on how villainous
Beast
can be, right? Like it's to a point where I'm like, even if you fix him, unless you literally say it wasn't him, it's gonna be hard for people to trust him.
Yeah.
For not only like characters within the world of X-Men and Marvel, but fans to trust Beast again. And if you're a person who is coming from Beast from the animated series,
right, if you're a new reader, you probably don't know that Beast is a piece of shit who should not be emulated or enjoyed,
right? And I'm not saying he needs to be
like completely
like
180'd,
right? Or like that he needs to be like a pacifist and all of that, like,
right? Yeah, no,
there is some ground in between that and where he is today. But where he is today, he is down a dark path.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. I know, it's horrible.
So, like I said, like,
but how's the book? Is it good?
I mean, I do like it, and I think I will stick to this book because, like, I really do hope that there is an issue in which it's just like we're dealing with Beast.
Yeah.
And I
Right,
want
like,
to
we're
be
gonna
there,
deal
and I
with
want
it.
to be there for that. Like, I want to be there for that, and all I can hope is that it doesn't get canceled.
Right.
Because it's always a concern with some of the Krakoan books is that like the sales won't be doing well enough. I think
No, we don't
X-Force
need it.
does pretty okay
I'm
for
sure it
us to
does.
not be concerned about it. It's not like it's happening in a Hellions book or
Well, it's hard to tell, like, what is an essential X-Men book at this point besides X-Men? Maybe Immortal X-Men, but even then, it's like so on the fringe because it's like it's not about Krakoa, the X-Men, or anything. It's like it's over there. It's
I
about
feel
other
like
stuff.
sometimes it feels like, and I know this is not true at all because I know that many of the writers over there are like working together and keeping it afloat. But sometimes it does feel like Gillen's the only one who's like, guys, we got to pay attention to like what came before. We got to pay attention to what we were doing originally.
Yeah, and they're like,
And-
no, we're having fun.
And I don't think that that's true.
If I wanted to do
100%.
that, we would Apocalypse would be back.
Right. But it does. It feels like that.
Yeah.
So.
No, it does. Corey McGivney says red claws, but not hot claws. That's what I'm saying, right?
Accurate. No, they're just red.
Give them hot claws.
They're just red.
Yeah.
You know what he could do? Like if Kushala jumped on Wolverine, like she was being given a piggyback ride, would that turn Wolverine into a fiery, flamey skeleton with hot claws?
I would hope. Fire claws.
Fire claws?
In that case.
Yeah.
And M says, in the latest Wolverine, Beast also killed Wolverine, presumably resurrected him without his memories, and is now using him as a mindless puppet.
Oh, I dropped out on Wolverine for a minute.
Which understandably so, as you can imagine, based on what just happened in Wolverine.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but listen, I read Human Target Book 9 from Tom King and Greg Smallwood. I also read issue 8, but we didn't really talk about it. So I got to go back and reread, or I got to read issue 8 and then read issue 9. And I'm so glad I did because issue 8 just tore through. Like issue 8 was like, oh no, I can't believe I would have to wait this long for issue 9. And then issue 9 came out. And yes, this cover is fantastic.
It is. It's
but every cover is fantastic. And it's frustrating that it had to be Batman for people to recognize it. But this is one of the best books coming out from DC, obviously.
I would also say that it's not just the fact that it is Batman.
No, but like it's a Hitchcock movie. Like, look
really
at that.
Well done.
Yeah. This is an issue. This is an issue that like has been a long time coming. A, it's set during the JLI period. B, Batman was in that JLI period. C, we're dealing with JLI characters. Obviously, Chance is sleeping with Ice, and he's in love with her, and he's going to die. And you know, he's trying to track down the mystery of like who poisoned him, and in the attempt to kill Luthor. He's got 12 days to live. We got 4 days left. Ticking time, ticking clock, that kind of thing. During that time, Guy Gardner showed up. He was an asshole. He like gave
what?
Yeah, if you could believe it, he gave Chris a hard time, and Fire and Chance killed him, presumably. And everyone on the internet was like, "Man, Tom King doesn't ever write comics." Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, "Listen, I've been part of that mob myself." But like, this is a retcon book that takes place in the past. That's about JLI. They didn't kill Guy Gardner, and people were still upset about it. And then the last issue was like, they're gonna find me because like Rocket Red shows up and he beats the shit out of Chris to like get information because he's like, I know where I know that Guy is missing. Where is he? And he's like, he doesn't tell him, but he's like, I killed Guy. We buried him and we got rid of him. And so that's a fun issue. It's really cool, but it's very quick and nothing really happens. But it's all about the journey. In this issue, Chance and Ice are on the run, though Ice doesn't know it. Like he's just driving into the middle of the desert. And Batman is never mentioned until the end, I think.
Okay.
Like there's no name Batman in it. But this cover is actually perfect for this issue because it's about Chance thinking that Batman is hunting him.
Right. Yeah.
And the entire issue is him being like, is he over here? Is he over there? Is he behind me? He could check. He knows everything I know. Like he knows that he's better than me at this, this, and this. It's the shadow of the bat.
Yeah.
Cast over this book where it's like, if Batman figures out what I'm doing, like he will come for me and he's probably already here. And so that was really, really cool to have Batman on every page of this book and not appear at all. Batman is not in this issue.
That's great.
And at the end of the issue, Batman does not come. There's no point in him feeling that way because he knows Batman's already outthought him because Guy Gardner is not dead.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, Batman is coming for me because he believes that because I killed a member of the Justice League. And then when he doesn't come, he's like, because he knows I didn't kill him. Like, so Batman would be here if he hadn't already outthought me. Like, it's a really, really great issue. It's and it's emblematic of the whole series, which is just such a treat, and it's such a worthwhile endeavor to read this book. Don't start with issue 9. Start with issue
clearly
1.
do not do that.
No, but just read the whole book. It's so worth reading. It's such a great series. Awesome.
Nice. I love it.
Yep.
Want to talk about X-Men?
Why not? Yeah, X-Men the 17. I haven't
X-Men
get a chance to read
17.
this.
That's
Jerry Duggan.
Yeah, we're back we're dealing with the vault.
All right. Yeah.
It was like, oh no,
Oh,
Laura's
no.
alive.
Yes, and I saw a page out of context from this.
Okay. The page out of context are great, but they also ruin everything.
They do.
Completely ruin everything.
Yeah, I think it's from the beginning though.
This is literally just Forge's journey in
the vault.
Yeah, while he's in the vault, like he finds her and he's like, okay. And he's got like part of Caliban on him.
Right.
And he has like basically stolen Caliban DNA and part of Mystique's powers as well.
Yes.
In order to allow him in there. And he's being protected from the time like storm that exists in there. So he should be fine when he comes out. He won't feel like he's been in there for years and years and years or anything like that. Like he'll just come out and be like, okay, I'm good.
Cool.
But basically he's like, okay, so oops. That's not who we wanted. We have to leave. And Caliban's like, no, we should help her. Like, we need to get her out of here. He's like, that's not the mission. Also, like, I thought that the 5 had only brought back 1 mutant by mistake, not 2. So
right.
That's a problem.
That is a problem.
So I'm just gonna not deal with that. And I'm gonna leave. That's fine because it's time for a fight. The entity who had been following them catches up with them, and it's Serafina, one of the children of the vault. Right. And of course she looks different. But she still has her like stripy like thingies going on there. But there has like she obviously has the upper hand. Forge tries to beat her back. He has like
he's got
claws,
like, energy
kind of thing. So he
claws.
tries to fight with her that way. She gives him a good arrow to the whatever
sternum.
This area is. No, the sternum's here.
Yeah.
He's not doing well.
No.
But he's like, Caliban's like, let me talk to her about this. And he essentially talks her down that like, he's like, she's like, I have to ask you a question at the end of the day. Like after Caliban talks her down by talking about how like the X-Men like do the right thing, that kind of thing.
Right.
She, because I think they freed her at one point. And she's like, I don't understand why you did that. And he's like, because the X-Men do good things.
Yeah.
So she's like, all right, I'm going to ask you questions. And if you answer me truthfully, then you can live. And if you lie to me, then I'll kill you. Okay. So she's like, did you build that thing outside? The vault, the trap, basically. And Forge is like, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, I definitely did that. And he's like, why? Or she's like, why? And he's like, the alternative was war. She's like, what else? Like, what's your ulterior motive? And he's like, because I wanted to see what would happen. She's like, okay. And she lets him leave. Cool. And he's like, but why? She's like, because I want to see what happened. Oh. And then Forge gets like hit in the neck with like cables of some kind. You're like, what the hell is happening? And he wakes up in this like crazy utopian version of Krakoa. And he's like, this is exactly what I thought Krakoa would be like. That's what it looks like in my mind. This is what it was. And you're like, oh no.
We're seeing a dream.
Right. So Caliban's like on the outside. He's like, hey, Forge.
Right. Wake up.
Hello. And that's when Darwin shows up and he's like, hey. So like Darwin was caught. And essentially what the 5 did to him was they just did live autopsies on him over and over again, because it's like, what is Darwin's power? It's to survive. Yeah. And so he just survived through everything. And he's like, it was horrible. And so what eventually Forge pieces together is that he managed to allow them to connect him to something, which let him just upload his body. Like he basically let his body go and he's just all code now. Okay. Like he doesn't exist anymore. Right. And Forge is like, well, then let's get you out of here. Like, right. Well, and he's like, no, actually, like once I got rid of the body, I'm better. Like the time in here wasn't so bad. And I'm fascinated by it and I want to learn more. Oh. And like, I'll let you know when I want to leave. That's awesome and could have huge ramifications and might. Right. Like if somebody takes that and runs with it. Right. Like, do you mean to tell me a mutant becomes code? What if they like release Darwin into space and he becomes a phalanx? Right. Like, what if he's the reason why they're coming? But like he'll be in the vault. Yeah. Until the vault system fails, and the vault system outside will fail if Krakoa fails. Yes. Apparently, and I'm like, okay. like, we gonna reset this whole thing? Like, what are we gonna do with this?
I don't know.
I love these images though of him fading away. I love how much they played around with it, where he becomes butterflies, and I loved the panel of him, like the last part of him,
butterflies,
because like little butterflies on the edge of the panel kind of eke in. It just looks so good.
Yeah.
Forge comes back to reality, and he's like, "Okay, we have to leave. We're not going to get Darwin." But what he does do is he has his suit transform to carry Laura.
Okay.
So they put her in there, and they come out, and like at the beginning of the book, Jean called Sync and was like, "Hey, you got to get over here."
Right.
And he's like, "All right, if they're calling me, they know how much I didn't want to go there. There must be something wrong." And he's like, "What's up? Where's everybody? Where's Havoc? What's going on?" And like, no, it's cool. And he's like, "Then why the hell did you call me?" And they just part, and there she is.
Yeah. And it's like,
and Cyclops is like, "She might need a minute, man." And she just runs to him and kisses him. And I'm like,
oh, what a nice happy ending. And then they explode.
What? No, they don't explode. No.
Just saying, because you can't be happy here.
No, you can't be happy. No, Forge does burn the suit, which I was like,
what?
Wasn't part of it alive? Okay, cool. He goes back to Krakoa, goes to the bar. He meets up with the actual Caliban. He's like, "Hey, man, I have a question for you. Like, if I needed your like abilities or your bio, anything,
would you
like,
be cool
to help people? Would that be cool with you?" And he's like, "Yeah, absolutely." And he's like, "Then I have to tell you a story, and I have to apologize to you." So then, right at the end, y'all, if you didn't read that info dump right at the end, that was a key little piece of information, because when Forge gets back, they download his brain, obviously, to Cerebro to do a backup. So they have everything that Forge just learned. And like Forge's backups tend to be a little bit larger on average anyway, just because of the nature of Forge's brain. And when they download this, it is abnormally large. They say it's zettabytes.
Like Darwin's in
like
there.
Something came back with him.
Yeah.
And then they did a second backup and it's gone.
Oh, like that. The extra stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm like, okay.
Cool.
Okay.
That's dope.
So I really kind of dig where this is going. Obviously we're dealing with, some stuff from the past, dealing with like the children of the vault. We kind of put a Band-Aid on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really fix it.
Yeah.
It's just that's an ever-living presence for the X-Men. But I really like the fact that we now have like they're calling Laura Alpha.
Yeah.
Or Wolverine Alpha.
Right.
So I don't know how that's gonna end up, but
I don't know.
It's kind of nice that for right now, at least Sync got a little bit of a happy ending.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
There's something really sweet there.
Yeah. Although I'd like to see what Laura has to say about it.
Oh yeah.
Nuber 375. Should I wait for the Human Target trade, or can I catch up? There was actually a 6-issue trade or hardcover that came out. Don't give DC your money for that, because that's bullshit. That's a doomsday clock decision. What you need to do is just go back, because here's the thing. Human Target did not sell like hotcakes, so you can go back and just pick up the first 9 issues of Human Target for either cover price or less.
Issue 1 sometimes can be a little difficult to find, though. For
but you can find
books.
reprints of it. Though.
Yeah, you might find a reprint of it.
Yeah. Spoon Lolo to watching you guys from jolly old England on my way home from a night shift. Thanks for keeping me company. Well,
cheers.
Cheers to you. Thanks for hanging out, man.
No, seriously, thank you. An
Elephant says this is gonna get worse before it gets better.
If you're talking about X-Men,
he is.
Yes,
and he won't forget it. Because an elephant. And Hayden Hamilton, thank you very much for your support.
Appreciate that very much.
So let's talk about this Doctor Strange Fall Sunrise.
Doctor Strange Fall Sunrise #1, written by Tradd Moore, drawn by Tradd Moore, and colored by Heather Moore. Okay. I don't know where this stands in terms of any sort of continuity, and I don't care. But let me tell you something right now. If you love Tradd Moore's work, you're probably gonna like this. Now, that said, the coloring in it is quite a bit different. It's a lot flatter, but I gotta tell you, like, as I went through it, I got more used to it, right? This one's out there, I gotta tell you, and I kind of love it for that. Like, so if you were one of the few who were able to get your hands on something like Into Shambhala, yeah.
It's like that.
It's that kind of out there.
Nice.
It's still very different, but like where you're gonna like read it and then you're gonna be like, wait, go back and you relook at the panels and you discover new information from the panels. It is a little trippy for sure, and because of that, obviously, it has some like Ditko influence there.
Naturally.
There's a lot of influences all over the place. You know, it's like DeMatteis influence in terms of like that level of like
it's like psychedelicness.
Well, yeah, or that like take on magic. For
Mm.
just psychedelicness, I'd go with Ditko there. There's definitely some manga influences in there.
Cool.
It is trippy and
It's about time.
Yeah, no, it really is. And this is a version of Doctor Strange. I've never seen this sort of design for him. It is classic and completely like I've never seen him before.
Yeah.
Like it is the classic suit. There it is, but he's got a very different look to his hair, to his face, the whole thing, but that's just more style. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with it. And I don't actually care if this is in continuity or not because it's Doctor Strange. So unless he dies at the end of this, which part of this is actually him like wondering, like, am I died? Did I die? He's like, no, I didn't. Okay, we got to figure out where he is and what he's going, where he is, what the journey is that he's on, and why he's there.
Yeah.
I really like this journey so far, and it's told like with like chapter 1 kind of thing, and then chapter 2, and you just gotta look at it. It's just like that's really what it is. It is a visually pleasing book. It is definitely 100% a comic in terms of the fact that like it embraces the medium.
Good.
Since you have an artist who's also writing it, there's often times in which onomatopoeia is inserted directly into the artwork. There's a lot of stuff going on in the backgrounds of panels. It's something I think I didn't realize how much I was craving until I actually got my hands on it, just to have this sort of really out there, like, you know, Ditko looking, DeMatteis, you know, for me, inspired style writing. I'm thinking again directly of Into Shambhala, where you're reading that and you're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
That's what this is. And I really am looking forward to the next issue of it. If you missed it, because again, it's Doctor Strange, I get it. And since technically there is a Strange book going on and he's dead in that, this could have happened in the past. I don't know. Like I said, like it's just classic feeling strange while being something entirely new. So if you like Trad more, or you like Doctor Strange, even if you 100% don't fathom every single thing that's happening on the page, I don't think we're meant to necessarily. I mean, you can pour over it, and maybe the more that the story goes on and we understand his overall vision for the book, it'll start to make sense. But if not, I take it also as the idea that we're in this mystical realm that the average person, we wouldn't understand what's necessarily happening.
Probably not.
We're not meant to. And I kind of like it, but it's artistic and it's fun. And I just, I'm here for it.
Yay. I love it. That's great.
Yeah. And hopefully this will get an oversized, like, Silver Surfer Black did, but typically any book that I want an oversized in doesn't happen. So.
No, we got Silver Surfer Black. That was as close as we could get. By the way, the elephant reiterates that it's you know, it was the Chief Wiggum quote. Thank you very much. Yep, that was funny.
Yes,
I love that scene. Yeah, man. So let's talk about Amazing Spider-Man number 14, the prelude or beginning of Dark Web, the massive Spider-Man and X-Men event that is coming from Marvel Comics. Look at that cover. Yay. So I heard about this only because, well, obviously I saw the cover for it, but somebody reached out to me. A colleague of mine was like, hey, have you read it yet? And I'm like, no. And he's like, oof. And so I'm like, all right, well, we'll see. It's written by Zeb Wells, the art by Michael Dowling, Kyle Holtz, Terry Dodson, and Ryan Stegman.
Interesting.
Yep.
But looks like there is reason for it.
Yeah, well, no. It's just kind of like different chapters, I guess. Yeah, and I think they do at least break it up by seasons. Like we talk about like what Ben has been doing during the Spider-Man books.
Right.
And also handles a couple of like the Spider-Man plot lines that Zeb set up. You're like, where did Ben go after he like became Chasm and lost his memories, but like kind of remembers Jeannie, but like doesn't know why he loves her. Jeannie finally finds him and they team up, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to do some bad things. Mwahaha. So she tries to leave. She like goes to the Grand Central to like just leave. And she is a wanted criminal because like she killed, I think, her father like 100 years ago. And so everyone's like, oh, this is a dangerous woman. So they try to catch her, and she kicks their ass and runs away. She returns to Ben, and she's like, I've got no future. It's just you and me. Ride or die, baby. I am a Chasm character now. So Ben goes to like where Peter Parker lives to give him a hard time, and we are reintroduced to the like money collector guy, the debt collector that goes and gives Peter a hard time. and Ben gives him a hard time too, and so Ben Ben procures a piece of flesh that belongs to someone. Of course, that's setting it up. I don't know who. I didn't think about it too much. I couldn't care less about whose flesh it is, but they're using it to try and
it looks like a Dorito.
It does, but they're trying to figure out it's decades old. I had a theory for it and I forgot what it was, but immediately I was like, oh, it could be this. I don't remember.
And it just went away. You're like, nah.
Yeah, my brain was like, don't think about that. Who cares? But he's got this portal that takes him to Limbo, and so he uses it, and he goes there, and he bumps into Madeline, who's the Lord of Limbo, and has forced all the demons in Limbo to to give her a hard time for being a clone. They yell, anti-clone rhetoric at her, and she notices that one of the demons yells the clone mean comments at someone else. And so it's Ben, because he's there, and the two of them, that is to say Ben and Madeline, meet up, and they talk about how mean the demons are, and how the demons basically there's a horde of demons that were following Ben because he's a fake thing, and they were following Madeline. When they meet, they're both on the same page. He's like, oh, we got to get these demons together. But it turns out that demons that agree will argue and fight. Basically, if you find too many people, familiarity breeds violence.
Okay.
So the demons slaughter each other, and Madeline reveals this tree that bears fruit, that if you eat the fruit, it makes you do things, and blah, blah, blah. So then Ben brings Madeline to his place, and they have dinner. That's two redheads and Ben having dinner, talking about their plan. Yeah, no, Madeline suggests that maybe they should hook up, and he's like, oh, no, you don't. Actually, I think he's like, you're not going to flirt with me, are you? And she's like, oh, no, I know better than to do that. Whatever. So then Madeline is like, hey, Jeannie, how come you're such a grumpy puss? And she's like, because Batman always introduces new characters, and nobody introduced a new character in this book. We need more new characters here. I need an action figure.
Sure.
So Madeline's like, no problem. Here's an action figure. So she steals the finger of Sim the demon.
Yeah.
And uses it to transform Madeline into a goblin.
Oh.
Madeline does it to Jeannie. I'm sorry. So Madeline turns Jeannie into a goblin.
Uh-huh.
And she's a goblin who wears many masks because she has many different identities that she used to hide from the law. And that, I guess,
one of them's Frankenstein.
Yeah, there's a witch and a ghost and a Frankenstein.
Oh, wow, they really are that.
Yeah,
okay.
It really is dumb because she is Hallows Eve.
Okay.
And so I'm assuming that what's going to happen is the different masks she wears will give her different power sets.
Okay.
And I'm like, wow, what kind of gimmick is that?
I don't know. That's I'd buy that.
Oh yeah, I buy it. I just think it's really dumb. But yeah, so Hallows Eve is now born. Ben won't stop going to Peter's place and looking at his house or his apartment and giving him a hard time.
Mm-hmm.
Not even giving him a hard time.
Because he's the Watcher.
Right. So the debt collector recognizes Ben. He's like, I know what you look like. You're Peter Parker, and I'm going to get my money. So then Ben beats the living shit out of the debt collector and drags him to Limbo. And then they force him to eat the fruit of the tree that maybe was set up in the Hellions book. I don't know. I didn't read it. But the New Mutants book, yeah. But he eats this fruit, and it turns him into energy, and it makes his soul pop out. And then Madeline takes his soul, and she takes a little bit, a hit off of it, and it basically this is what she's going to do to Peter. We're going to trade enemies because Madeline wants her life back. She wants revenge on Cyclops.
What?
And Jean Grey. Because really, Madeline had a life and a child with Cyclops, and then just it all went away when she was revealed to be a clone. And so that's what I want. So what she's going to do is she's like, okay, so Ben,
that does line up with her rejecting Havoc.
Right.
He wanted.
I could move on
It was because of him that she was brought back at all. And then she was like, yeah, no, I'm good, actually. Thanks. No, thanks. Goodbye.
Mm-hmm. So she's like, we're gonna get Peter Parker and we're gonna bring him down here. We're gonna make him eat from the tree, and then his soul will pop out, and then Ben, you'll eat his soul or snort it or whatever you do with it. And then you'll get your memories back and you'll be the one true Peter Parker. So it's like the Clone Saga again, only with more demons in it. And like, this is the implication, like, because there's a big, like, like reverse image where they both look into this cauldron and they see what they truly desire, which is like Peter being like torn apart by like vines, and Madeline remembering being Marvel Girl and having a baby. And so that's the plan. And that's the issue is just like, here's like, people are wondering what the hell this is going to be about and what this is going to be and who's doing what and why. So here you go.
So, okay. Admittedly, I don't hate this, but I do understand people not liking it, because what this reminds me of is like old X-Men drama.
Yeah. Big time.
Which is kind of weird.
Right.
In your Spider-Man book.
Yes. It is weird in your Spider-Man book, but also Spider-Man should be choked with drama. So if it's not going to be an X-Men, I guess it'll be in the Spider-Man book.
Right. Now, will she does she want the kid back because she feels bad about what she did?
The kid doesn't come up.
Okay.
It's just that like we see it visually.
Okay.
Like, so we don't know if she really wants like Cable or whatever, or Strife or whichever kid she had. But I think that the implication is it's just like we're both clones who had shit stolen from us by our counterparts, and that's not cool.
Now, it seemed like admittedly in New Mutants, it seemed like she had some growth, but it was all like you couldn't tell. Yeah, but honestly, the way it was written, you couldn't tell if it was actual
genuine
growth
or not,
or if it's just Madeline being Madeline.
Right. Well, it turns out it was Madeline being Madeline. She's full of shit. But yeah, that's that. And so it's like, if you are tasked with doing an event about clones, Madeline and Ben getting together is like a genius move. Like, on paper, I love the idea. The only problem is, of course, like, you'd have to make Ben a bad guy, and you have to make Madeline have no growth, and you have to like ignore all the decades of like anything happening, because like you just had Inferno.
Yeah, no, that's what's weird.
Like, you can't call it Inferno. We can call it Dark Web.
Well, it's supposed to be more of a Spider-Man event than it is an X-Men event, so it wouldn't make sense to call it Inferno because
no. So it'll be more Spider-centric, but like Maddie will.
But it has the drama.
Yes, of X-Men. And I mean, I didn't loathe it.
Yeah.
But I also like don't. I quit Spider-Man because of clones. I only got back in for like a little while to watch Ben die. I was like, this you super needs to go away.
Right.
And then I watched him die and fall off a building and crumble to dust, and I was like, there he goes. Good. And I picked up like other books here and there, and it wasn't until Straczynski that I got back into Spider-Man again. So this, I mean, like, I caution you that, like, clones, as I think we talked about on our back issues shows, like clones are hubris. It's what like a creator does when they think they can't do any wrong, or they think that they can like prove themselves by being like, well, I can make the clones work.
Right.
And I'm like, what you'll more likely do is break the book. Because I don't care about like where Peter has nothing to lose. So I don't really care. Plus, like, there was an entire arc with like where Peter is killed thousands of times by centipedes, and then they had the audacity to remind you of the centipedes by having the reflection be him surrounded by centipedes. And I'm like, dude got killed by Kindred like 400 times. Like, I don't know what more you could take from him.
Right.
No one cares about him. No one likes him. He has nobody in his life. He's sleeping with Black Cat, kind of, I guess, sometimes, maybe. And Aunt May is talking to him again. Like, there's nothing left.
Yeah.
You've just you haven't given him anything to take away to make me sad. If it was the Spencer run, and like Mary Jane and Peter got back together and things are looking up, and like, he's making money again, and then you do this, it's like, oh, I'm concerned.
Right.
But now I'm like, I hope you get him. Like, I really do. I hope he kills Peter and like takes it. Like, eat his soul. Wrap it up. Because you know why? If Ben wins and Peter goes like to limbo and his soul is eaten by Ben, Peter go to hell and Mephisto will get him. And then we have to address that. And they won't. because they didn't.
Right.
You know, because instead they retconned that like Mephisto made a deal with Norman Osborn for Harry Osborn's soul. You know, like we've already done all the Mephisto we can do. So at this point, or maybe what'll happen is I got it. Ben will make Peter eat the thing, and Peter will eat the thing, and then Ben will snort his soul, and he'll be like, "Oh, your soul is corrupted because of your deal with Mephisto. Like, what happened?"
Yeah.
You know, it's him. Oh no! And then Ben becomes something else, like a demon chasm.
Or maybe somehow it'll get messed up, and he'll only eat the deal.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he and
Jeannie can't be together ever again, which nobody, which I'm sure.
If he eats the soul, does he take on the deal?
I think he just remember. Yeah, right. Because I don't know. That'd be interesting. They won't do it, but I would love to see that. But yeah, it's it's not like the worst Spider-Man comic I've ever read. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh my god, like they've ruined Spider-Man. It's just kind of like, okay, I see the deal. I see what's going on. God, don't let it run too long. You know what I mean? Like, don't overstay your welcome. Like, just do whatever.
Okay.
But, I don't recommend it, but, like, it exists. Dante Cook, I took your advice on $1 to $5 bins at comic events and found all 3 books of Legends of the World's Finest by Walter Simonson. Wasn't looking for it, but I love the art in it. Happy holidays. That's great to hear.
That is great. Love that.
Yes, congratulations on finding a terrific series. GRK Pectus, have you seen the posters for animated Disney's Iwaju movie? It's original story, but inspired by Wakanda's futurism and some cyberpunk too.
Haven't seen any posters for that.
Nope, haven't heard of it in any way. So I'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
Hayden Hamilton, how are you all reading Junkyard Joe? Thank you for your content. It inspired me to start a comics podcast for my college, and it's always a true pick me up.
Hey,
great to hear. Congratulations.
That's
and
awesome. No. Sorry.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this makes you my competitor.
What?
So I have to destroy you.
Oh my gosh.
No, I'm kidding. But all right, let's talk about Guardians of the Galaxy, the Christmas special.
Yeah, we saw it.
There's a Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special on Disney Plus. We saw it. It was made by James Gunn, stars the entire cast. If you're looking for a non-spoiler review, it's cute, it's fun, it's worth watching.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah, no, I didn't know what to expect from it, but by the end of it, I was like, I really enjoyed myself.
Yeah. I had heard that Gunn wanted to make this like an homage to the Star Wars Christmas special or holiday special.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it really did that.
No, I think it did it in a very smart, safe way, because there were there was like the animation part. I was like, yeah, it's that style of like kind of crummy animation.
It was
like,
very crummy. That was rotoscope. It looked more like the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, but it didn't make me think of the holiday, like the Star Wars
that didn't make
special.
me. It made me think of What If. So I was like, oh,
no,
like it made me think it was lazy.
No, it made me think of that 100%.
That's fair though.
Like, but I'm not probably as jaded as you.
No, or cynical. I'm just a miserable person who hates everything.
But yeah, no, I didn't. They had like obviously there's music in there. There's
music was great.
I guess necessarily.
Yeah, it wasn't like a chalk. It wasn't like Art Carney and
it just
B. Arthur.
It had like the what the Star Wars holiday special could have been kind of thing.
Yeah,
sort of. I don't know. I thought it like did the homage just enough.
Yes.
I was just like, I really don't need a 1-for-1.
I feel like it could have opened with like a 14-minute long scene of Groot on his home world talking to Groots.
I'm so glad you're not in charge of that. Over
no, I would not have done that. But I would have thought about it like hard.
Yes,
because it's such a reference.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also enjoyed it. The original music's great. The story is fun.
Mm-hmm.
You could clearly see them like saving money in every way.
I don't. Yeah, that's fine.
Which I was like, yeah,
it was fun.
Yep.
I thought the actors clearly were having a good time. They got a chance to maybe do some different things with their characters that they don't typically get to do with the main movies.
I wouldn't have time to really address
or
deal with.
You get like, instead of having like, Star-Lord and Gamora, who, obviously not there. But like, instead of like them who've been like the forefront of the other Guardians movies, you get a chance for like Drax and Mantis to really be the stars of the show,
which is really fun.
Which I think is good for them, obviously, because Drax clearly Batista is not looking to continue these for too much longer.
That's right. He wants to leave when Gunn leaves, which is fine by everybody. Drax is actually one of the few characters you can do that with.
Oh yeah,
where you can kill him and then reanimate him and have a new body, and that'd be fine with me. If they want to do that, which I doubt they will.
Yeah,
Marvel Studios is like, no, if we kill them, we're just gonna kill them.
Fine, whatever.
It's like fine.
You could do whatever you want,
especially villains though. But no, I like that
maybe
too.
We'll make room for what is it? Not Polaris, but it's a word like that. Quasar.
Yeah. Yeah, Quasar be great.
But yeah, so like you
Wendell or Phyla.
Yeah, I like Phyla. That's because that's the first one I met.
Phyla's the cool one.
Again, it's the one I met, so I like Phyla.
Yeah.
You know, you got Cosmo in there. Groot's there, but like he's not a big part of it, and I appreciate that. Like Groot's got a little show.
Yeah, Groot has his own damn show.
And we're not going to do Rocket because that's going to require us to anime. So this was smart, and I think they both did really, really well in it.
And I think Rocket's gonna be a big deal in the third one.
Sure.
So it's like let Rocket get out of the way.
Yeah.
Save us some money and also have him like step back.
Yeah. The obviously the MacGuffin is great. Does a great job in it as well.
Yeah.
That they're after. Does progress the storyline a little bit.
I'd say so.
Sure.
I mean, like we don't know what. I mean, like we got very little. You know, Guardians 1 and 2 take place within the same like year or two. You know, like that's like 2007.
Yeah.
And then the only time we ever check in on the Guardians is Endgame, where it's like Gamora's dead and they're sad. And then it's Thor Love and Thunder, where it's like they're doing something weird looking.
Yeah.
But nothing special. Like they're just having fights. And then this one is like they bought nowhere. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
They did something there. They're you know, settled down a little bit.
Yeah, they are more settled. Yeah.
We also get a little more character development for Mantis.
Yes. Not just development in character, but also development in powers. We got to see her do stuff.
Yep.
I liked her jumping and her, like you observed.
She moves like a praying mantis a little bit. I was
Yeah.
like, ah!
Yeah, her scaling the walls is like, oh shit.
Yeah.
She's scary.
Yeah.
Also her coming into her own, like because she's alone, or she's not alone anymore. She's not with like ego. Like she was able to like assert herself and like find her voice. That's fun to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was just fun, silly.
Yeah.
Everybody did a good job, and like if you go into it, just be like, we're just watching. Like that's literally how we went into it, and I was like, yeah, I'm digging this.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
To be fair, though, you should know something about me. I love holiday specials, so I was already like, I didn't know much about it, but I was like, oh, let's see what this is gonna be. And I'm usually going to give it a chance.
Oh, absolutely.
No matter what, just because it is a holiday special.
Right. And it was I think it earned a place as like a holiday special and also as like a Marvel special presentation. Like it worked in both regards.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
but yeah, we also get one other fun like reveal in this for Mantis.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Which I heard was a deleted scene in Guardians 2 or something like that. So they were able to like give it more time and flesh it out in a really profound way, which I thought was really nice.
Actually, there was some heart to this.
Yes.
It's a little like, you know, it got me.
Yeah.
It definitely got me. Near the end, I was like, oh,
right.
Like just very, very sweet. The whole thing.
Yep.
Especially even with the because we do get a little bit of a flashback to Michael Rooker's character.
Yes.
Without him having to be there. Maybe that was part of it too. They're like, we're gonna
I think
this.
he was rotoscoped. I think because he looked like heavier and older. I was like, no, that really is Michael Rooker.
That could definitely be, but also that way he didn't have to put the makeup on.
We have to put the makeup on.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's like, that's fine with me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
totally.
They, you know, you forget how much Yondu is like. He's just a great character.
Yes. And
you know, with him not being present in Endgame and such, it was like, you know.
Yeah.
But he's not there for that.
No.
But it was nice to have like that like beginning where it's like, yeah, that's the Yondu we remember, and then at the end it's like, yeah, that's really what Yondu is. Like that little like final section with that got me too. I was like, that was well done.
Absolutely. Just
a little progression of their relationship. That made total sense.
Totally worth it. So check out Guardians of the Galaxy, the holiday special. It's really cool and genuine and heartfelt, and like, you know, just overall check it out.
Yeah, it works 100%. And if you like, you know, Drax's little one-liners,
you're gonna like this.
I want that little man.
Yeah. So let's recommend some comics that come out this week, tomorrow and Wednesday, that you can check out. I'm going to check out Nightwing 2022 Annual. I miss the numbering of annuals. I hate that they call them the year, but it makes sense. But it's written by Tom Taylor, with art by C.S. Pacat and Inaki Miranda. I'm sure it's just going to continue the story. To that end, Detective Comics number 2022 Annual. Again, Ram V, Raphael Albuquerque, Christopher Mitten, Hayden Sherman. I'm excited for this because, like, I don't know. I know that, like, I
need to read this.
Yeah, well, it's a flashback book that will establish who this.
Saying.
Yeah, because I forgot about the werewolf reveal.
Well, it's not just that; it's the fact that I like when you take things that you know, and you kind of make it another thing. And
Yeah.
while it's not going to be a 1-for-1, I think it'll be similar.
Absolutely. And I think that's all that I'm picking up next week or this week.
Okay, I will give a shout out if again on the holiday train. I believe the you know how DC does an 80-page
Christmas or holiday
that's coming
book?
Out.
Is it really?
Yeah, I think it's the one that's called Grifter Got Run Over by a Reindeer. Grifter. It's not just about Grifter.
Good old Grifter.
But you know they do like those like holiday compilations, so it's bigger price tag, but it's 80 pages. Up to you if you want to grab that.
Cool.
But I will be picking up Strange number 8, written by Jed MacKay with art by Stefano Landini.
Yay.
More of the Blasphemy Cartel and yeah, I how long are we gonna do this for? I don't know, but I'm whatever. It's fine.
Yeah.
Exterminators number 3 is coming out, written by Leah Williams with art by Carlos Gomez. I'm gonna grab that as well. I really like the last issue more than the first issue, so let's see if the third issue continues the trend of me liking it more than the last one. Strange Academy Finals number 2 is coming out. Written by Scotty Young with Humberto Ramos. Obviously, this book is growing up with the characters a little bit, so still digging it though. There's a independent book I had recommended a month back, I guess, or so.
Yes.
Briar number 2 is coming out, written by Christopher Cantwell with art by Jermaine Garcia. It's kind of a fairy tale, like dark sort of story, and I want to try to remember to grab that along the same lines of independent books. The Approach number 2 is coming out. I really liked this one. This one came out in October. It was spooky. It was horror themed. It was, set in a cold, location.
Yeah.
Something about snow and horror. I'm there for it. So now that even we're out of like spooky month for sure, but we're getting into like the cold, wintry weather. Not quite yet. We can hold that off for a little bit, but I still get in that mode of like, ooh, now it's time for winter horror.
Yeah.
That's written by Jason Hurley with art by Jeremy Hahn. So I'm going to be grabbing that as well.
Sweet. I should also mention I'm going to try and check out Superman Kal-El Returns special number 1. It's written by Mark Waid with and Marv Wolfman and Sina Grace and Alex Segura, and it's got art by Clayton Henry and Dean Haspiel and Jackson Herbert and Max Rayner. So that'll be fun to see. I don't know. We'll check that out as well. Or at least I'm going to try.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, Hayden said, oh no, that wasn't Hayden's question. Somebody asked if I had a chance to read Wildcats, and I did not yet. It was a long weekend, Wildcats. But yeah, I will try and read it soon.
Yes.
But yeah, Hayden Hamilton says, how can I read the comics you've written? I don't like to do that too much because I don't like to promote myself. I don't want to pretend like this is actually what I don't want to do this. I'm a phony YouTuber. But you can check out Garth Kirby and the Cookbook of the Gods, probably on Comixology if it is there. If it isn't, there's nothing you can do to find it. Otherwise, you can go to flightofthebinturong.com and check out my space adventure webcomic. I've also written a series of other books called Horseman and Sestra and other things. But those are gone. Those are wiped clean by the wrath of God. And so you can check those out where they are. I don't know. Otherwise, we want to thank you so much for hanging out with us and supporting us with your super chats, with your watching the show, your comments and chat. We are really, really appreciative of it, and we are very lucky to have you all. If you want to support us more directly, you can go to patreon.com/ComicPop or follow Tiffany on twitch.tv/ComicPop to watch her play video games, or just follow her on youtube.com @ComicPop Plays, and you can check out the re-uploads of those streams on YouTube, where we may at some point be simultaneously streaming. We'll see. But otherwise, we want to thank you so much for being here and for your support.
Yes.
And enjoy your comics. Keep reading, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
I'm Sal.
Oh, I'm Tiffany.
Bye-bye.
I said bye first.
That's okay. Bye.